Nobody say anything.
It's on!
It's on!
I don't believe any one of our viewers right now is just quite as excited as him that it's on. But here we are for the August 31st edition of Disney Trivia Live.
Nope. Disney Park stock. Hey, this is Doobie and mine's third live stream of the day.
Here we are for the August 31st edition of Disney Parks Talk Live with our normal panel, Rebecca Mosley, Mike Celestino.
I have a question. Is every park represented in that opening?
I believe so, on the cruise line. I hope so.
Is
I tried.
Onie there?
No, it doesn't count. It's not. Neither is Hilton Head or Vero Beach. And that loudmouth down there is Jeremiah. And we're going to jump right into it today because we have our CEO here today. And as you know, CEOs are always on an extremely tight schedule. They're very busy. We're lucky he was able to carve out a couple of minutes to spend with us. And we brought him here specifically to talk about the reopening of Disneyland. That is that. So if you could put down your pager for a moment and tell us what's going on with Disneyland, we really appreciate it, Mr. CEO. Thank you for joining us, by the way.
Wow. You are so full of
it. Your time is valuable. What's going on with Disneyland?
Disneyland's closed.
No, what's his name? That would be Benji.
So basically, California last week announced a new plan for how they handle the state in different counties on the coronavirus watch list. So they used to have like you're either on the list or you're not on the list, and now they have a color-coded section where, based on the number of cases and the number of the percentage of positive tests, you get a different color. So there's purples, widespread, that's like the worst. You have substantial, which is red. You have moderate, which is orange, and then you have minimal, which is yellow. So each county in the state of California was given a grade based off of the metrics and then the colors. So the other thing that makes it a little bit more complicated is you have to have the conditions to be on the lower level for at least 2 weeks, and you have to be you can't move from one level to the other level for at least 3 weeks. So currently, Orange County has the numbers to be orange, but it is still purple because it hasn't had those it hasn't been at that level for at least 2 weeks. So right now, I shouldn't say right now, as of Friday, Orange County was at 5.6 cases per 100,000 and a 5% positivity rate. So if it stays that course, which is an if, they'll move to the red level. And there isn't any guidance yet about what about the theme park industry and what they can do at the different levels. Some things like restaurants are at certain colors but we looked at the zoos and aquariums metric to determine like if that's an analog, what could happen. And it looks like if they get to the red zone, the museums, zoos, and aquariums can open at 25% of their capacity. So of their indoor capacity. So we would expect that if Orange County is able to stay in the red zone, once California gives guidance as to theme park rules, that they would be able to open up at 25% capacity. Now the thing is 25. That's 25% of physical capacity, which Disney never gets to, right? Because that's way too jammed for comfort in terms of like wait times and things. So that's probably what I would say is like 40% of regular capacity with you would expect at the park. So it looks like we're inching towards Disneyland being ready to reopen. They made this announcement Friday afternoon. California Governor Gavin Newsom said he was having a meeting later that day about theme parks and specifically. So he didn't do a press conference today. He'll probably do one tomorrow, so that we will maybe get an update. These colors can change on Tuesdays. So if it doesn't change on Tuesday, you're going to wait till at least another Tuesday for the color to change. It's also important to note that just because it gets to a different level doesn't mean Disney's ready to go. Like obviously they're going to have to recall cast and things like that. But since they have access to the daily information, they should be able to see where, see that it's coming down the road and be able to prepare a little bit.
Cool. Well, thank you for that update. Anyone on this panel have any questions? Sure, Jeremiah.
So,
I have one. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
at what point do I press the button on my phone to join the virtual queue for this?
Rebecca, have a real question?
My question, do you guys happen to remember San Diego County is ahead of Orange County in the progression of color, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're already at the red zone.
So my thought is that as theme park goers, we would watch what's going on regarding the interaction between the state and, say, Legoland and SeaWorld, which reside in those counties. It would seem like they're further along towards the possibility of open if they're further along in the color scheme. Or am I misinterpreting?
So it kind of depends on, they need two things to happen. One, they need to be at the color that it needs to be to reopen, but they also have to have specific industry guidance. That's going to be things like expectations regarding, queues and things that might be specific to theme parks. So we don't know when we're going to get that. So it might be by the time we get that Orange County and San Diego are at the same level. But so we're waiting. And Gavin Newsom specifically said it's not so much the big theme parks that they're struggling to kind of figure out. It's the smaller enterprises. But he kind of gave an indication that he doesn't want to open the big ones without being ready to support the smaller ones.
Right. I can understand that.
So as I said, Orange County already has the numbers now to be in red, like San Diego County, but they're not. They just don't have the time. They haven't been at that level the same amount. Because right now, in terms of cases per 100,000, Orange County is actually better than San Diego. Their positive and San Diego's positivity rate is lower, so they're kind of, I would say, even. But San Diego has been in that condition longer.
Okay.
Is the zoo in San Diego open? The Wild Animal Park, SeaWorld, any of that?
Yeah, so I don't know about the San Diego Zoo. I know that specifically the Wild Animal Park is open, and SeaWorld is opening as a zoo, so outdoor experiences only. So outdoor zoos can be open. So you're saying
Discovery Kingdom,
right? So we went to Discovery Kingdom
in Contra Costa County. Discovery Kingdom has opened its zoological element. None of its thrill rides are open.
Right. So if you go, I mean, I went there just to go someplace, and it's saying it's just a zoo is a little bit of a misnomer because the shows are open. You can see sea lions and it's not Shamu, but dolphins jumping. So it's not just exhibits, but no rides are open.
They have a bird show
outside.
Bird show there. By the way, I don't have a 20, so this is the best I can do.
I got a 5. Yeah. And it's where you get into the indoor thing, and like you have places like Knott's who are open as essentially malls, and they are, so they can be open because the rides are closed.
Hey, okay. JB, look, our pal Tooney got a haircut.
Who?
Toonie. Look in the comments, the Facebook comments.
Oh,
Breaking news.
today's a big day here in Contra Costa County. We can actually go get a haircut. All right. Well, I don't want to hold you up. Thank you, CEO, for taking the time.
No problem.
And,
We'll probably have more information tomorrow, so we'll share that.
All right.
Bye.
Get back to your important CEO stuff. All right. So that's the update on Disneyland. Let's move on to more of the park. So, Mike, I know the most exciting thing you've experienced recently in the world of Disney theme parks happened not at a theme park or even a resort, but at a retail store.
Yeah, it was Star Wars Galaxy's Edge trading outpost madness yesterday morning at Target locations. By madness, I meant there's like a half a dozen people at the one that I went to, but it was fun. It was kind of neat to have an event like that. It reminded me of going to like Force Friday or whatever. But yeah, there's the social distance line outside of my Target in Burbank. And when we got inside, I was a little bummed, but my wife and I were politely walking toward the toy section, and the people who were behind us like cut across the rest of the store and were running, and they got there before us. And we were like, we were just trying to keep things like orderly, but I guess it's going to be one of those where a bunch of people grabbed all the plush animals, and those were the first things to like disappear off the shelves. I didn't even get photos of those.
Oh, wow.
But they had a lot of the other stuff. I didn't see the big Millennium Falcon vehicle playset at all. And they didn't have that Lego set there at the first Target we went to. We had to go to another Target, North Hollywood, to get that. But
you got that one? Have you built it yet?
Yeah, I built it yesterday while I was watching Force Fest panels. But I really like that set a lot. It's pretty neat. I think anybody who enjoys that attraction would really like the Lego set.
I might get that for Tony for Christmas.
I thought you were gonna say you were gonna get it for Gideon, but get it for the guy who hates the.
It would be much more fun to give it to Tony.
Okay.
Well, is there anything here in particular I should be showing, you think, or just kind of scroll through it?
Well, yeah, these droids are really cool. These are just like little mini. They're like droid. What's it called? Droid Workshop or whatever. Droid Factory, yeah.
Are those the same size as the ones that they're selling at the Droid Depot, or are they smaller?
Well, these are the little action figure ones, but they do have bigger scale droids. I think if you go up to one of the galleries and flip through, oh yeah, that's not going to look great, huh? Oh yeah, here you go. So there's lightsabers, there's masks. Those lightsabers are pretty cool. There's actually one that comes with. They come with the little kyber crystals and stuff, so that's neat. It's like little plasticky, kid-friendly versions of the ones you might build at Savi's workshop, so that's kind of neat.
Nice.
This, you know what? I didn't even realize what this was until I looked at my photo this morning when I was putting the post together. But they're like regular earthly playing cards shaped like sabacc cards. So it's a little different than the one that you would get at Galaxy's Edge, which are actually sabacc cards. You can learn how to play sabacc like you would in Star Wars, but these would allow you to play like poker or whatever with sabacc shaped cards. Are they like the little ones you put next to your microphone yesterday? Yeah, those were the minifigures that came with the Lego
that's really cool.
Yeah, these are water bottles.
The green water bottle is actually DJ Rex and Porgs on it. I almost bought that today. My Target only had that and like one other thing that I went to.
Yeah, I want to pick those up. That's on my list.
Yeah,
but
so
like,
here's
these guys. Are these?
This is the larger scale droid. It's probably the same size as the one you build in the Droid Depot, and it's a remote control droid.
Wow. Have you guys seen the video that's going around social media of the people who took their shoulder sitting? I think it was a Figment, and then they attached it to the top of the BB-8 because that's a magnetic, keeps the head of BB-8 on, and so they put the shoulder sitter. Like I said, I think it was Figment, and so you have this BB-8 style body rolling around, and then you've got this Figment just rolling around on top. It was really funny.
That's really funny. I have to check that out. I wonder, you could probably do the same with the Porg that sits on your shoulder.
Right. Yeah, it may have been a Porg. I can't recall which character it was, but I just
could have been Twiggy for all we know.
I think it was Attraction.
Twiggy.
Cool. And then you've been doing a lot of Force Fest, right, Mike? That's been your thing.
Yeah. So there's this. It was a fan-run virtual Star Wars convention called Force Fest. It took place over this past weekend. It was kind of just to fill the gap where Star Wars Celebration would have happened. How much are those droids? I don't remember how much they were charging for those.
Money is no object for Mike C.
I didn't buy them, so I don't know. Force Fest, yeah. So it was just a collection of fans that got together to put on this virtual event, and anyone could go watch it and participate in it. And they had a lot of conversations going about all sorts of different topics all across the Star Wars franchise. And they had a few people show up who had actually worked on the movies and stuff, but it was mostly just fan panels and podcast episodes being recorded live and stuff. But it was a lot of fun. I thought the people who put it together did a great job. It was pretty significant in terms of its size. There's a few hundred people I saw coming in and out on a pretty steady stream. So
were there any toilet paper insights learned there?
Okay, no, theme park. TP in the document that we were all sharing stood for theme park.
Sorry.
I also saw that you guys, there were money was raised for a charity.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they put together a way to contribute money to Make-A-Wish of Greater Los Angeles. You could give them however much you like during the panels, and I think they raised over $3,000 through the weekend, so that was pretty cool for them. And as far as theme parks go, it wasn't that much, actually. They did talk about, Galaxy's Edge came up here and there. There was a panel that was focused on Vi Marati, the character created for Galaxy's Edge. So that would be the closest thing, I think. But what's that?
I have a query for you, Michael Celestino.
Yeah.
So you are engulfed in this Star Wars community. You know so many Star Wars fans. What is the overall impression in the community of Galaxy's Edge and Batuu?
It probably depends who you ask, but I think most really hardcore fans are pretty into it, because as soon as Batuu got revealed, like that was the planet that where Galaxy's Edge was going to be set, they started like seeding it in all the little comics and novels, and you could really get invested and learn the history of the planet. And it seems like every few months there's another book coming out that features Batuu as a location, and then you can go to the park and visit that location, and it's kind of like stepping into the universe. And I think like if you go a couple steps down on the intensity level of fandom, there are a lot of people who are bummed that it doesn't represent something that you would see in a Star Wars movie, or a familiar location like Tatooine, Mos Eisley or something.
I've heard that from a couple of people.
Yeah.
Is it the latest Thrawn title that references Batuu, or is it or is it a previous one?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Not to drop any spoilers, but
Well, no, I thought I'd seen it. Like I thought somebody showed it on a back cover, so I didn't think of it as a spoiler. So
well, there's like 3 Thrawn novels ago that features Batuu as one of the main locations.
Oh, okay.
I'll say that much. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
Wow.
Cool.
That one's called Thrawn Alliance, I think.
Very cool.
And then watch this smooth segue from one coast to the other. So one other bit of Star Wars news, but this time in Florida. Not that smooth, so I have to find the button. So I don't know if this is more of a Jeremiah. I want to ask Mike about this. First of all, what does this say, Mike?
Oh, it says, may your trades go well. No, may your deals go well.
I love that you could read that.
May your deals go well. But this is the Batuuan Spira, which is the currency on Batu and Black Spire Outpost. And this has been available before in a different color. The one I have, I wish I had prepped it for this, but it's in the other room in my wallet. But I keep it in my wallet. That's the kind of dork I am. But the one I have is gold. It's kind of like gold plated. And now they've got a new one that's silver. So I got to get this one to continue my collection.
I want the silver one.
And it works like a gift card. It works across all of Disney parks as a gift card. You know, you could use it anywhere, not just in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And the way it worked previously is you would buy it for $100 and it would come loaded with $100 on it. So it's basically free. Hey, look at that.
That's the original?
That's why I married her.
Very sweet.
You guys, my wife brought it to me.
Wow.
I was trying to find mine.
Stay there.
Awesome.
But we had a picture of it in the article.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I love it, though.
It's getting kind of beat up. I guess I shouldn't keep it in my wallet, but I was using it to, I would refill it every once in a while and then just use it to pay. I got my pen exploded before and I got ink all over my fingers, which is what you see there. But I would just use it to pay for whatever around, especially if I was eating or, going to Oga's Cantina. It just feels so cool to like just drop this on the counter and go like, you feel a little bit more like you're in the Star Wars universe.
There's some people on Etsy who have crafted holders so that you can wear it like a pendant that you can kind of slip it into and out of, so that it's a little bit easier to carry than in your wallet, especially for a female. Wear it like a pendant, but it's pretty cool.
Right. This is
I think Mike would look cute in that.
This is the original thing that it came in. You can kind of compare that to the other one, which is black and silver. And this says Spira, which is the name of the currency, and BSO, which is Black Spire Outpost.
Very nice.
That is great. Wait, hold on. What does the back say?
It just
the back says all the legal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tells you that it's a Disney gift card and stuff.
In English.
Doobie, do you see Tunisia? Jeff said, there's a cure for the nation's coin shortage. Just theme it to Star Wars. Give it, retheme it as Batuan currency, and we'll all start using coins again.
George Lucas saves us again.
I will be there tomorrow morning at opening to get one of those.
Yay!
And I can almost guarantee that anybody that is a Star Wars fan, or sadly those people that buy 20 popcorn buckets, I'm sure will be there at the exact same time, and it'll be the longest line next to trying to get your boarding pass for.
Do we know what the pricing is for this one, or the minimum load?
Wasn't it 50 originally, Mike? I thought I got it for 50 when it first came out.
Mine was definitely 100.
When it first came out, it was 100 because that's why I don't have it. I wasn't going to be spending enough to make it to fit it into my budget when we went on our trip.
But whatever it is, I mean, it's just a gift card. You get that much on the card, and then so it's truly free.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just a fun way to spend your money.
I want one.
And then you can refill it, so you can keep it. It's it's actually like a raised texture, right? Like when you rub your hand over a quarter, you can feel Washington. You can actually feel the Batuan.
Are we feeling Palpatine there? Is that who we're feeling?
And it's really nice. It's like hard metal. It's like you can't bend it or anything.
Can you stick it in your mouth and try to bend it with your teeth, like old timey stuff does?
I want to do a rap song about it, like the Tin Spire found the.
I was actually thinking, for some reason, I was thinking before, because I realized that Hondo Onaka rhymes with Chewbacca. I was like, can I write a rap song about Galaxy's Edge?
Yes, you can.
Maybe have Doobie perform it on Disney Trivia Live sometime.
You do your part, I'll do mine.
Oh dear! Sounds like a special moment on Who's the Boss Pod as well, right?
Sure.
Right. Do the crossover show.
Yeah.
All right. So lots going on in Florida too. Do you want to do some hosting, Rebecca?
Well, I was just gonna say, Jeremiah, when you're at studios, don't forget to keep an eye out for that popcorn bucket. The Onward, Genevieve, is that the name of the band?
Guinevere.
Guinevere, that's it. I knew it was one of those. I knew it was one of those fairy tale G names.
They are there. They were out there last week when I was there. It's just in this day and age, like really the only way to get a photo of it is to buy one.
Right,
And
right.
I'm not a popcorn fan.
I'll have to have you pick. I'll have to have you pick one up for me though, because I have family who love that movie, so I'm sure they would love to have one, and then we'll get a picture for LP as well, so that'd be fun.
What's your feeling on Onward, Jeremiah? Does it touch you emotionally at all?
Oh, Jeremiah is a softie.
Jeremiah won't watch that movie again.
Yeah.
That big announcement that came out earlier, who was it? Is it D23 or no? Pixar Fest is doing an Onward thing next week, and I saw that. I'm like, oh great, and then I'm like, nope, I'm out.
I saw it. It's not half bad.
But very funny. Meanwhile, what's going on? What's going on with the parks? What should we start with? Should we start with Pinch? Should we start with Polynesian scheduling? What do you want to start with?
Let's go with the Polynesian scheduling. For those of you that didn't hear what today was probably the biggest news, Disney's Polynesian Village Resort and Spa that was supposed to open up in October has now been delayed until next summer. The Polynesian Resort, the DVC section has been open since day one of the reopening. The bungalows and the different rooms that are in the DVC section, but the rest of the buildings are not going to open until next summer. As Doobie and I had a conversation about earlier.
Just keep talking.
No, Moana is not scheduled to take over the entire resort, but the hints that came across kind of vaguely in some statements and a little bit stronger in other statements is the rooms are going to get some Moana themes, which is great. But at the same time, Disney's Polynesian Village Resort just went through a major renovation maybe 5 years ago. So, I mean, it's a little early for them to do it, but it's great. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But it's a great way to tie it in. One of the things Doobie and I were talking about today at the walk and talk was how I don't care what they do to the buildings. I love Polynesian. It won't change it. But the number one thing that they could do is change the luau and make it Moana themed, and I would go see that once a week.
I think I know you said it just went through a refurb, but one of the nice things about it getting further refurb is like the Contemporary and Magic Kingdom itself, it turns 50 next year as well. So it's one of the original resorts celebrating a big birthday and, maybe needs a little more care than some other resorts. Yeah. So, but it's nice that it's going to look brand spanking new for its big 50 next year. I also turn 50 next year. I will not look brand new, unfortunately,
but we will be celebrating properly. We're going to paint you this pinkish color that everybody will complain about.
Well, it'll look like a birthday cake for a year.
Yeah. At the Poly, when they redid the last big redo, when they introduced the DVC and brought in Trader Sam and everything, that was right around the time when Moana was coming out. And everybody jumped on the shop upstairs was Moana themed prior. It had a Moana name. And everybody's like, they're already changing to Moana. We're like, no, that's what it's always been. There hasn't been any Moana seeping into it yet. The closest that we've gotten to any extra theming is throwing the orange bird here and there.
Rebecca pointed out there is some Moana carpeting at the Polynesian already. So she's already made her way into there. But we can expect more. And then let's see, Halloween.
Actually, I was asking.
No, I know, but then I researched.
Okay.
Oh, Doobie researched. I
couldn't remember for sure if it was a bad memory or not.
Based on your trigger, I did some research, and there are numerous internet pictures of Moana-themed carpet at Ohana at Disney's Polynesian Resort.
So that bar area out by Ohana?
Yeah. And I would show the pictures, but they're not ours, so I will give proper credit.
Okay.
Give me a moment to get you a picture.
No worries.
Please feel free to talk while I'm doing it.
Because I was guessing that it is the bar out there because that was just redone just maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
Over
that
there
makes
just around
sense
the time of
that-
the filming. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is from another Disney website called Blog Mickey. Don't hesitate to go there if you want some Disney World news. And there, in a moment, is a picture of some of the Moana theme carpet
There.
at
Ta-da!
outside Ohana.
Yeah.
That was a lot of
Outside
effort for a
Ohana.
picture.
That's why I don't frequent that bar up there. I don't need a back scratcher. And
Okay.
I haven't gone to Ohana in a little while. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, one of the things that I said earlier was I don't think Imagineering has let us down in any way, shape, or form. At least I can't think of the last thing that they did in any of the parks where we went, oh, that's just a horrible idea. Even the stuff where we weren't sure of how it was going to come across seems to have impressed most of the diehard Disney fans.
Well, for me, I mean, I enjoyed stumbling on the penguins when I entered the lobby of the Grand Floridian DVC, the Mary Poppins penguins, and then when we stayed at the Grand Floridian way long time ago, while there wasn't any direct, that was before they had any direct character theming within the resort itself. You know, they've since added the Mickey silhouettes and the flooring and that kind of thing, but none of those elements were there at that point. But then when we entered our room, well, then there was Alice in Wonderland motif into the bedspread, and then as the Grand Californian in California, it opened with small
Bambi.
Yeah, but I want to say it was like Bambi was on the curtain, and then I want to say that there was some in the wallpaper. There were little hints here and there of Bambi. So it's not like it's not like to the same level of Art of Animation or Disney's
All-Star movies.
But,
Yeah, it's not the pirate themed room.
But you're at a Disney hotel, and I for one am not. I like bringing in the little whimsy of the Disney characters, so I'm excited.
I agree, and I love it as touches room. I even love a princess room, an entire room. I just don't necessarily want to see it effectively become Disney's Moana Resort instead of Disney's Polynesian Resort, which it doesn't sound like it's going to. So that's perfectly fine. Another thing I love is seeing Mike's fingers typing from this angle. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mike, Moana.
This laptop has the camera underneath the screen, which is just completely counterintuitive.
Dumb.
That is wild. I love it. No,
Mike
it's
C.
nice because of the angle. I mean, I like it. But
Well, except when you're typing.
but
Yeah.
other than that, it's cool.
I've wondered at times where you've done something. I'm like, why is he doing that right in front of the
It's like
camera?
typing way weird.
Now it makes so much sense. I'm glad I brought it up.
Yeah, Mike doesn't type way up here.
Mike, where do you rank Moana, 1 to 10?
Yes.
I really like Moana. That's like an 8 for me.
That's high.
Maybe like an 8.5.
I love
I
the
really like
music.
Moana a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the newer,
Shiny.
like that everything but that song
I love
was
that
it
song.
kind
Jimmy
of brought
loves that song.
Well, it's his boy.
I know.
Who's my boy?
Him and Lin-Manuel. They're like this. Jimmy's over here.
It's like Hamilton in the South Seas with a girl
Let's
and
move
no
on.
shooting.
Let's move on. Let's move away from vast body of water, ocean or sea, as Tony makes sure we know. And Halloween is coming.
Yay!
Yay! Wow.
Oh.
So there's Halloween
Jeremiah?
stuff coming September 15th to the Disney World Resort. We're going to see food and treats. And I'm sure that, food and treats, as if those are different. And merchandise.
Actually, some of the treats start showing up next week on the 8th. This was the original publicity thing, article that Disney put out, And then they put out another one that's a guide to the treats that said some of the stuff starts showing up on the 8th, which I'm a little scared about because there's a lot of that I was looking forward to.
Oh, that
cubes.
stuff was good.
They have glow cubes.
Okay. Did you see what? Okay, Doobie. So Doobie used to like to get those glow cubes, and you know how they have the dot on the bottom to turn on and off.
Mm-hmm.
So he would slam them on the counter and slam them on his head, and slam them on the counter and slam them. And this, he would
See how
do
fast
that
I
with
could
those
turn it off and
cubes.
on.
It was disturbing to watch. It was mesmerizing and disturbing all at the same time.
Everyone needs a talent.
Yep.
I
And
had to search
Doobie's
hard for mine.
with the glow cube. Yep. So yeah, lots of Halloween stuff coming.
Yes, on the 15th, I will be at Magic Kingdom first thing in the morning. We will be there. The Madame Leota off to the right,
Yes.
which that picture is absolutely horrible because that's a sipper that hasn't been shown before. So that'll be the number one thing everybody's going to rush to. The Hitchhiking Ghost, those came out last year in California for the 50th anniversary of Haunted Mansion, and then came out here for the Not So Scary, and then kind of stuck around for a little bit. But having a Madame Leota sipper is going to be, that'll be the number one thing everybody rushes to.
That is awesome.
Have I told you guys how proud I am of myself for not buying those Hitchhiking Ghosts?
You're a bigger man than I am, Mike.
Because every time I had the opportunity, I was like, this is something that I would have bought 2 years ago. But my wife and I have no room for anything like that anymore. And it would just either like sit on a shelf collecting dust or go in a box. And I feel great that I managed to resist it. That's all.
Very
They
good.
are
Congratulations,
really
Mike.
cool, though. Like,
They play
that was one of the
music,
things.
right?
They do a little something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of those things. The first day the first event, myself and Shelly ran from station to station collecting them, and it was lots of fun when they're like, "Do you want your popcorn?" We're like, "No, we just want the bucket."
Yep.
But yeah, Magic Kingdom is going to be decorated. They haven't said to what extent. And I don't know if all the pumpkins will be out on Main Street, but I'm sure the Scarecrow pumpkins will be out because those are easy. And I'm looking forward to it. It'll bring a little bit of kind of the normalcy back to the parks, knowing that we have a holiday. And it also sets a good precedence for Christmas time, which if the Christmas tree isn't out, that'll be a little heartbreaking.
There's no way. So it's interesting that when they do Halloween now and all of these things, really they focus on food and merchandise. There's not a whole lot more they can focus on now. You're not going to get a new show or anything. So, we look forward to announcements of merchandise events now. So that's going to bring us back to Mike. I'm like Mr. Segway today. You want to talk about this, Mike?
Yeah, so there's going to be this special, actually it just started today, but the reservation I was able to get was for Wednesday. So I'm heading down on Wednesday afternoon to Downtown Disney again, and they're using the former ESPN Zone building as this reservations only shopping opportunity. And I'm thinking this is stuff that would have been like park exclusive. I know that we've seen people tweeting about other stuff they got there that was not in the initial announcement. So what they had put up on the announcement was all these pins for the 65th anniversary of Disneyland, and some of them are pretty cool. They all feature different attractions and characters and stuff. I like the one with Donald and the Disneyland Railroad. That's probably the one I'll get. But
Casey Jr.
I know there's also a Sleeping Beauty Castle like snow globe sipper that we didn't have a photo of, but people have been buying it today down there. And I'll be down there Wednesday afternoon, and I'll get as many photos as I can of whatever's left, I guess.
Very cool.
See that on Laughing Place and probably on our Twitter as well, twitter.com/_Laughing Place. Jeff makes a great point. I am now looking very forward to my Hamilton Ice Cube mashup in a future edition of Disney Trivia Live. Thank you, Jeff, for that suggestion. So let's see what else, Jeremiah. How about the Swan and Dolphin? Not really a part of Disney World, but sort of, kind of.
You mean the former tower that is no longer called the
Cove?
Wow, thank you. The Cove. What was the credit
Swan
card?
Reserve. They've gone with Swan Reserve.
So
I
Walt Disney
enjoyed
World
Kyle
Conway.
making it sounds like a credit card.
It's the
And
wine
it
I'm going to be
reached-
drinking tonight.
It was topped off, so it has officially reached its highest point. And I can definitely tell you, as somebody that visits the parks, you can see that building from both Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios. So,
It would not be a Swan and Dolphin Hotel if you couldn't.
yes. They really should just call it the Swolphin. It would have been more entertaining for the rest of us.
That would have been great. You a big fan of?
Oh, did we lose Doobie?
Oh, sorry. Take over real quick, Rebecca.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a big fan of the Swan and Dolphin. I enjoyed the times that I visited those hotels. They're not quite Disney, but they're definitely a fun area. And I also enjoy the ability to walk to Epcot and the studios from there.
You also, this week, were over at Epcot, and there were, I think actually Tony ended up sharing these with us, but I'll let you talk about the changes we've seen at Gateway Gifts, the little shop at the Spaceship Earth.
Little shop, Spaceship Earth. Wow.
Are you able to pull up those pictures, Doobie, or should I have brought up something else? Okay.
Yeah, both Gateway Gifts and the Camera Center have updated, and the Gateway Gifts, as somebody pointed out, was one of the last original signs from Epcot from through all the different incarnations. That has been almost the exact sign. Now they've gone with a darker color and added in the logo, which I think is quite funny that they have a little shopping bag logo.
That's hilarious.
Cute. I love it.
Yeah, it's really nice. By this time, if the world had stayed as it was, we would have probably seen much more construction, and who knows what that brand new fountain they built would have looked like out front. But
Is this your article, Jeremiah?
No, this is Tony.
Tony, if you're listening, I know you are. I want to commend you on managing to get 10 pictures out of 2 signs. Bravo. You are a true LP staff member.
Hey, how long has it been Nikon, the camera shop? Because I still struggle with seeing Nikon as the camera icon. I don't know why. It's been a long time, right?
Yeah, Kodak left at least 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's funny how some things are so ingrained in your memory that when you see that other logo, it's like, what? Oh yeah.
Anytime I see a Nikon photo spot, I pause because I can remember always growing up, and they're Kodak photo spots. Yeah. And there were even jokes about that in different shows of, hey, go visit the Kodak photo spot.
Wonderful.
But yeah, the shops look really nice. Those 2 shops, with all the construction going on, especially in Future World, those 2 are like the only 2 constant things right now. And the Pin shop has become Pin Central because the old Pin Central behind Spaceship Earth is no longer there. And the Gateway Gifts is just, it's kind of what the newsstand used to be at Disneyland, where you could walk out and get the main things. You could get your mouse ears or anything you wanted to get that wasn't too big as you're exiting the park.
Waiting for me, huh?
Yep.
I
just took over while you had one earbud in, and I figured you had other stuff happening. So
okay, and then one other thing we wanted to make a quick mention of, not great news, but Universal Orlando, like all theme parks around the world, suffering right now. So they've announced over 1,000 layoffs this time from their hotels. The Aventura and the Sapphire Falls. Which the Sapphire Falls is Lowe's run, and the Aventura is Universal Hotel. The Aventura is it's the moderate hotel. They just opened up the beach resorts down the road a little bit, which was closer to what would have been the Epic Park, which hopefully at some point will still continue. But so
the
Sapphire and the Aventura are closing. These layoffs are from, actually, at least according to this, 4 different places. They're from the Cabana Beach, the Hard Rock, the Portofino, and then some support staff. So even though some of those hotels are open, if not all of them, there's still some layoffs. So
yeah, I mean, sadly, we're seeing very much what happened post 9/11, where, and this happens, not national crisis or national mourning, but sadly the parks and everything get to that high point, and it seems inevitable that something is going to come around to kind of go, hang on, let's scale you guys back. And, sadly, Governor DeSantis did a speech from Universal last week where one of his statements was 90% of full-time employees for the parks are back to work. That number, from the people that I know, it may not be 100% true.
So 90% maybe not 100%.
His statement was
95%
of full-time employees are back to work.
Okay.
And
what's the standard deviation on that?
Stop.
0.7.
But hopefully,
Exactly.
hopefully, as Florida seemingly is seeing a decline in their numbers, hopefully that will be a positive as far as people's comfort in visiting, and then once again being able to see people return to their jobs and that type. I have many family and friends in the hospitality industry in Orlando, so it's something that I kind of have a different, a little bit more personal watch on, as it were. So
yeah, and it's really difficult. Florida, just like California, September always drops off. But if here, Halloween Horror Nights and Mickey's Not So Scary, where in California there's 12 different Halloween events that really drive guests in between now mid-August to the end of October, and then we kind of head into the Christmas, but we have no Halloween events with the exception of Busch Garden doing Hollow Scream, and Halloween Horror Nights at Universal isn't happening, but they just opened up extra rooms at their tribute store that caused me to buy a poster that I never would have bought before. But I know they're doing everything they can to not only make sure that their cast employees are back to work, but things to draw locals, if not some of the local or some of the nearby states guests into, which is great. And I applaud them no matter what. It is not a good time to be in the hospitality business with the way the world is, but Disney and Universal are doing everything they can to keep their cast members, employees as long as they possibly can.
Well, that's part of what motivated me to jump into the El Capitan's trivia contest that they had on Thursday. It was a $10 buy-in to be part of it, and it wasn't like they had this enormous prize. But I mean, right now they're a movie theater, and a movie theater that I treasure. And I mean, they can't be open, so it's like one of those things where they gave me a product I could actually buy. So I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. I don't live nearby. They're also doing like Mickey pretzels. You can go buy Mickey pretzels to watch with your film at times. They're doing that. I know for a while Laughing Place wrote that I don't know if it's an ongoing thing, but they had the marquee available. You could actually purchase the marquee, timing on the marquee, and like at varying levels. The base level, it would appear so many times in an hour. Next level up, it would appear that many times in an hour, and they'd send you a digital copy of it. So these industries are doing the best they can. It feels like they're coming up with varying ways to keep you engaged as a consumer, and also kind of bring in some funds to pay the bills, as it were.
Yeah,
by the way, that trivia contest was epic. The hosts for it were so much fun. The types of questions were fun. It was done through like Zoom, and so you could see all the different families participating, and they had themed. A lot of the people dressed up. It was really a lot of fun. I didn't participate in the D23 one, so you guys will have to tell me about that one at some point. But yeah.
You said that there wasn't a big prize, but was there a prize for that?
They did a raffle partway through. They gave out three frozen blankets to random people. So they did not seem to have something that was connected to your score. It was a participant raffle.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
But I
What
mean, honestly, when you're dealing with online trivia contests, it can be very challenging to do it strictly tied to scoring because so many of those are based on giving you points for when you answer, and connectivity is so varied that you can really lead to some bad feelings if you don't handle that really, really well. I know from personal experience.
I don't know if Doobie's talking and he's on mute or
No, he's probably on mute. Jeremiah, you participated.
Completely forgot I was on mute. Sorry about that. Let me get there. Thank you for mentioning that, Jeremiah. I'm like, man, these people are doing a great job of ignoring me. Really throw a lot of weight around here. So Jeremiah,
you were working. I'm sorry.
I'm talking here.
So
you don't need me. No, Jeremiah. So I heard there was another trivia contest. Apparently, you have a particularly good internet connection.
Yes, Friday night there was the D23 trivia tournament that was done on Zoom, but they also had it so Brett Iwan was the host, and he would read off the trivia questions on your screen, and they would recommended having your computer or your TV be your monitor, and then you would answer on your phone. But the questions would pop up on the phone also. Doobie, geez, you didn't want Mike around anymore?
I didn't do that.
Yeah, I think he had to go.
So, hi, Mike.
Oh, sorry about that.
It happens.
So it wasn't so much the difference between the screen and your phone, because if you're just playing on your phone, as one of my friends was doing, it would pop up for everybody at the same time. But like, as it started getting towards the end of the trivia tournament, the question would pop up and then there'd be like a second delay before it popped up on the phone. So that was definitely one of those nice things of, okay, got it.
Well, with the El Capitan one, the question would be on the screen for quite a while with all the answers, and then at some point it would unlock, and then you would choose your answer, and then depending on when you answered depended on how many points you got. So
yeah.
and if you started to hit too soon, obviously that wasn't going to give you any points because it wasn't taking your answer yet. So
the D23 one was also dependent on not only your answer, but on your timing.
Were you through the Kahoot app with D23?
No, it was
Okay.
Slido.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's funny. So that's a third one, because the one that when we do the ones for Disney Trivia Live, we use Kahoot, which is a popular educational tool that was developed through Disney's, what's that program called? Accelerator program. Yeah. Whereas the one that was used for the El Capitan Theater one is one that's I think it's called Crowd Live, and it's rather common with like pubs because it's more geared towards on-site hosting. But it worked really, really well through Zoom. And then now this is a third one that I'm hearing about. So, and then yes. I think one of the Patreon groups I belong to, they use a different trivia platform. I can't remember the name of it. It's a different trivia platform from these ones. So I'm always interested in the variety that's out there. So that's all.
Slido worked really well.
Yeah.
It gave the chance to do videos and pop-up photos pretty timely. And after each round, it would give you what your score was and what your placement and how long it had taken you.
What were some of the tougher questions, Mike?
Well, first, did you guys say what place Jeremiah came in when I was dropped out for a second?
No, we haven't yet. We haven't yet.
Okay, well, I won't spoil that, but I'll say that I was in 190th place at the end, but that's out of like 1,000 players. So
that's
I felt
impressive.
Pretty good about it. Yeah, there you go. But you know what? I haven't been to a lot of the international parks, and like a bunch of questions were about
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, have you been to international parks? That's a thing we do when we talk on Dig a Little Deeper. We abuse Jeremiah's world travels.
I actually have all the questions. right here.
Okay.
But which ones did you find particularly challenging? I'm just curious what Mike C. So Mike C. says international travel ones were the ones that kind of were guesswork for him.
I don't know. I did pretty well on Disneyland because that's my like home park. But
right,
I go to Walt Disney World once every couple years for a few days, so it's like I guess because of my job, I should know more about it. But I didn't excel at that. I missed there was a question about a carpet store in Epcot that I guessed was in.
I missed that also.
Did you? Okay.
So did Sean Slater, number 1. He missed that also.
Fair enough. So I'll cite that one as the most difficult.
Okay, so there you go. So you're in good company. You're really good company.
Yeah, I mean, some of the ones that were they were all multiple choice, but even in the early ones, which were all just Disneyland, like what actress helped Walt Disney dedicate Sleeping Beauty Castle walkthrough at Disneyland? And there were
I did not know that.
Amy Adams.
Shirley
Temple. But they gave a bunch of different names. Who christened the Mark Twain?
Irene Dunn.
There was one that was really well written, and I gave mad props to my friend because we were like, wait, it lists which of the following special guest was not on hand for Disneyland's press preview day on July 17th, 1955. And it listed Ronald Reagan and a bunch of them. And it also had Richard Nixon in there. So if you're a Disney person, Richard Nixon was there. No, he was there for the dedication of the monorail in 59.
Yeah.
But what was it?
But it could catch people. That's cool. 5
questions later, who was the VIP that Bob Gurr, and they actually showed the video in 2011 for the Disney Trivia Challenge at the Expo. They had video challenges, and it was Bob Gurr answering his door and trying to find this question. And it was the exact same video that they used in 2011 that they reused for it. And it was, who did Bob Gurr give a what? Who was the VIP that Bob Gurr took for an inaugural monorail ride in Disneyland in 1959? It was Vice President Richard Nixon. So they kind of, and Brett even made a joke of like, well, if you didn't know the first one, here's a new one for you.
Yep. The day that Bob Gurr kidnapped the VP.
Yes. But yeah, at what Disney theme park would guests find a store called Casablanca Carpets? And
wow.
Yeah, and it was Disneyland Paris, I think Hong Kong, Epcot, and maybe Shanghai.
No, I'm going to guess Disney Sea, so I'm wrong.
I think Disney Seas was one of them. I guessed France. It's actually Epcot.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Embarrassing.
Very cool.
I know.
I have to go look that up.
But yeah, there were a bunch of different ones. And the first round was all Disneyland, and then it kind of started branching out. And then the last 23, get it? 23 questions.
Very nice.
Were done by the archivists.
Wonderful.
They chose different ones. Here you go, Doobie. This one.
So were they read in like kind of the way that Jeopardy goes and has like, sometimes a video guest instead of Alex Trebek reading it? Is that what it was? Or did they do something fun and then Brett would still read the question?
It was the Bob Gurr one was really the only video one. Okay. Becky Klein came on and read hers. Okay. But yeah, it would be them reading it and then they'd pop up the question or the answer options. What is the name of the large transmitter of the future located on the former Rocket Rod's loading platform at Disneyland?
The Observatron.
Yeah.
That one I got.
Yeah, so there were lots of fun ones.
In the El Capitan one, I kept getting hurt by questions about Zootopia. Because I don't know that movie well. And it was things like, what color popsicle did he buy?
Yeah,
and I
hate that kind of question.
I don't know.
Oh, but if it was what color Bantha did he buy, you would know that.
But the thing was, 80% of the people got it right. So clearly, I'm in the wrong. I mean, I should know. 80% are getting it right.
Bantha, didn't El Cap advertise that they're going to be doing more
Yes.
Trivia quizzes in different categories.
Yeah, they mentioned that they're going to do another one on September 10th, I think was the date that they gave out. But they said that they're going to have theme nights. They're going to have a Pixar, a Marvel, a Star Wars. And so, yeah, so I was telling people, so pay attention to us or El Capitan Twitter, because I know we'll tell you and I know they will too. But, you know,
Pressure's on for Mike.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
sign up. I'll sign up for the Star Wars one for sure.
Very cool.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to move on to Tokyo, some quick news, because they have announced that nighttime entertainment is resuming on tomorrow, which is a huge deal.
So nice.
Huge deal to have. I don't know what their nighttime entertainment is, but I'm sure it's pretty special. Jeremiah probably knows. So
I haven't read it. I know that they talked about fireworks. I'm trying to read what it really small. The fireworks, which you can actually see from both parks, which is nice. The Nightfall Glow, I'm not sure if that was the short
Nightfall
version
Glow.
of the
Do you know what Nightfall Glow is? We don't know. And the Disney Light the Night fireworks at Disney Sea, whatever they are, it's just nice to have some nighttime entertainment in the park, other than Winnie the Pooh frolicking on grass or Timon going on a boat around an island.
One of the big things about the guests at Tokyo Disneyland is they rush in, they do rope drop, and they will find a spot to watch a parade, and they also are so polite. They make announcements of, you can't put your children on your shoulders, you can't have a tripod. If you want to take pictures, you stand behind the front 4 rows of people sitting. So it comes out very well over there.
If you check on that Laughing Place article that Doobie shared, our team did a really great job of sharing what's coming, and then also kind of listing out the things that are the shows that are still suspended. So if you've been to the parks and you're kind of wondering, hey, the stuff I like, what's going on with it, that our team did a nice job of kind of, letting you know kind of what's happening and what's still not back to normal, as it were.
And talking about different things coming to the parks, tomorrow I will be at Epcot because the food and wine, the 2020 food and wine merchandise, and is supposed to be released. I was going to say an extra food, but no, they haven't announced that any other booths are going to be open. And we did an article late last week at the reveal of a bunch of the merchandise, and they really have some cute merchandise this year. They have a whole new Figment line. The annual pass line is really cute with a really bad pun about olive. But it's got some great merchandise. And I don't know if more merchandise will be down the pike or if there's the great video of it. Can we play the video, Doobie?
It's a long video. Do you guys hear this?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
But
I do.
really? Okay. Well, it's good to know.
But the merchandise lines will come out, and we'll have pictures of everything that is available tomorrow.
So you want to be on our live stream tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific time,
Yes.
because that's when all that excitement happens. We don't want to spoil it right now. We really don't.
No.
We did want to do one other thing before we go. Rebecca is the master at digging up stuff that otherwise might get lost. So you want to talk about this a little bit, Rebecca?
Oh, I was just going to say, if you're on Twitter, you should look for Eddie Sato and scroll so I can show the other name. And Tom K. Morris. You should look for these legendary Imagineers as Twitter follows, because not only do I find their repartee rather witty, but oftentimes they will share amazing pieces of history, of Disney history in the timeline. For example, these are some pictures that Tom has shared of the carousel as the carousel was being developed, and those types of things. So I just wanted to make people aware of these two amazing legendary Imagineer Twitter follows. They were both featured in the Imagineering story series on Disney Plus, and I've noticed in recent months they've become much more active, sharing kind of. I think that I don't know if it totally prompted, but it seems like that kind of has opened a bit of a floodgate regarding them sharing more and more stories and tidbits and images through their Twitter accounts.
Yeah, Eddie has always been very free with his sharing. I know Tom was an Imagineer, and now he's kind of doing the Marty, where he gets pulled in for different things, where he's not officially. But I know 2 years ago he talked about that he was writing a Epcot book that was going to focus on the opening and the construction of Epcot. I haven't heard any updates for it in a while, but he's always, and he interacts with people. Same with Eddie. They will both, if you ask a question, they will do their best to find the answer.
Eddie has a tremendous article today on Blue Loop about Mark Davis and Mark Davis's impact on the Disneyland Resort. It's a really great read. I was very much enjoying it today. I haven't gotten all the way through it, but I had to do this.
One last question before we wrap up here. Mike C, Tom Morris or Eddie Sato?
I think I've seen Tom Morris talk in person at a couple different conventions. I always thought he was really interesting, so I'll go with him.
We loved Eddie's restaurant, right, Doobie? Encounter?
Oh, that's right. Encounter at LAX used to be there. That was pretty interesting. That was the last place we ate before we moved to Florida.
Yep, and it was an amazing place. It was really, really fascinating to see what Imagineer types can do kind of outside that Disney world, but yet still within the area of themed entertainment.
Islands of Adventure. Islands of Adventure.
Old articles when Tokyo was being built, and one of our writers back then, Mark Borelli, really kind of got to know Eddie Sato and did a lot of articles talking to him and on him. So if you want to search the LP archives, hopefully those are still there. Oh, Mark Borelli. Let me just check one thing real quick before we wrap up here. Oh, okay, Jeremiah, do your thing.
So to make up for my amazing unboxing of the Organist from a few weeks ago in my walk and talk, which is quite entertaining if you haven't gone back. It was Magic Kingdom 2 weeks ago now. I received something in the mail today. It was our pass holder, we appreciate you envelope. And it's Magic is here. And as Disney has done over the years, they've been giving out magnets, but with the parks being limited to annual pass holders, entrances, and they haven't been able to do the magnets. Like, we're still waiting for the Flower and Garden magnet, the secondary one, but they did make a point that they were sending this out to us. So here's the pretty inside of the castle and Dumbo. But the highlight, and this is going out to the family, if 5 people have an annual pass in the household, it's going out 1 per household.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
And then the thank you to the pass holders.
Oh.
Now they showed those guests from behind so they don't have to show their masks.
Exactly. I was thinking that too. I was like, no.
You guys are such marketing guys. So cynical.
But look at the social distancing. There is nobody in that tunnel right there.
So pretty. Oh, I love that tunnel. I cannot not wait to be. I think I will cry when I'm back in that tunnel. I love that tunnel. I missed that tunnel when we lived in California. Now I'm happy to see that tunnel.
I'm gonna cry on the Skyliner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The artwork in that tunnel. Oh, the murals.
I have pictures from the first day that the parks reopened of each of the murals with nobody around because it was so empty. And that's one of those things of like, we don't need to do an article. We just need to post those.
I am a sucker for tiled murals. That's part of my frustration with Tomorrow. I miss, no matter what size, whether it's those enormous Mary Blair ones that were on either side of the Tomorrowland, entrance, or the tile work that's done there in the Cinderella Castle, or the ones at the Riviera Resort. Oh,
beautiful.
Yeah, no, I'm a sucker for tile work. If I was wealthy, I would have one of those pools that has the tiled pool, where it's the beautiful blue tiles all along the bottom of your pool. Oh yeah, I love tiles.
You married higher. All right, thank you, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for being a part of this Disney Park Live. I'd like to remind all of our viewers that coming up in just a little over 2 hours, we've got LP Movie Club, Phineas and Ferb, Candace Against the Universe. That should be a ton of fun for all you PNF fans. And then tomorrow is September already, so we kick off September with our September highlight video by the one and only Mike Celestino. Is that all ready, Mike? All done, ready to go?
It's like 3/4 of the way done. I'll wrap it up in the next couple hours.
Awesome. And then at 1 p.m., these are all Pacific time, of course, Disneyland time, 1 p.m., Jeremiah will be live from The Experiment. And then tomorrow is Tuesday. That means at 7:30 p.m., we've got Disney Trivia Live, starring myself and my son Gideon, doing 2 contests to be determined in the next 26 hours. So thank you again, everybody, for being a part of this. And we will see you in a week for this show, but much sooner for a ton of other shows. Make sure everybody waves
I'm
goodbye.
going to SeaWorld on Fridays. We'll do a live stream from there. Bye.
There you go. Oh, cool. Oh, that's exciting.
That's
I want to see Clyde and Seymour.
Clyde and